All right, guys, we're live.
I'm so excited.
Hi.
Hi, how are you, Yumi?
Good. How are you, Amanda?
I'm good. I don't know how the weather is by you, but it's a beautiful day out today, and I'm very excited because it has been raining, I feel like, for a year. So the sun, and we're not very far from each other. So
I know. I'll see you at the Vegas conference.
oh my gosh, are you going to be there?
I am. So I'll get to hug you then.
Oh my gosh, I'm so excited.
Same.
Are you going to any other conferences this year?
No, just that one, but
It's a good one to go to.
Yeah.
If you're going to go to one, that's the one to go to. It's huge. Everybody's there. And it's Vegas in the summer.
Agree.
Hot. All right, let's get, we're going to wait for a few more people to join. We have this recorded.
Okay.
Let's see. Grab a sip of water.
Oh, is our Instagram live still practice or live?
I'm trying to figure that out.
I'm not sure. Technology is very fun. It's not my strong suit.
Okay.
That's okay. We'll start on this and then I will try and figure this out.
All right. Should we give it some time for people to log on, or do you think we have a bunch of people in already?
We have 32.
All right. Hi, everybody that's
Hi.
still logging in and that has logged in. We're really excited for this. Just a fun little chat about top 10 questions that we each kind of gathered up that estheticians ask. You know, try and help out. Hi, Laura. How are you? Thank you for joining.
Oh, I'm seeing that people can comment.
Yes. Nora from Orlando. Oh, I want to be in Orlando.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
All right. So we'll just get started.
Okay.
My name is Amanda Barretta. I am the esthetician with TIZO, and I am joined by one of my favorite people, Yumi Kim. And introduce yourself. Tell us a little bit about your business.
Okay, well, my name is Yumi Kim. I am a medical esthetician in New Jersey, and I'm originally from Pennsylvania, so I wasn't too far from where Amanda and TIZO were, but now I'm up in Jersey. But yeah, I am here to do all things skincare, and I love TIZO. If you guys follow me, you guys know I talk about TIZO all the time.
You are amazing on social media. I just want to put that out there. Your stories all the time, you stay on top of it. You are so good with your social media.
I try.
Oh, you're really great with it. And you have such a following on social media, and your business just seems like it's booming. So I'm sure a lot of these questions that we're going to go over today, you have been asked multiple times.
I know.
So yeah, Colleen, you can see the chat on your screen as well, right? Okay, great. Perfect. Well, then let's start with your first question that you have.
Okay, so I actually put up like a questionnaire on my Instagram story. And so these questions are directly from actual like clients and followers. So the first one, when do you apply vitamin C, AM or PM? And is there a right or wrong way to do it? I find that a lot of people actually don't seem to know, when to apply it. There's no right or wrong way.
As long as you have vitamin C in your regimen.
Yes, for sure. And as long as you're wearing sunscreen, that's like the biggest thing. I know clients that will tell me they're using vitamin C in the morning, but not wearing sunscreen, which is a no-no, a big no-no. So if you're doing that, don't do that. So if you're not active about sunscreen, which you should be, then apply it for the nighttime. That's when your skin repairs while you sleep. So I prefer to wear it in the nighttime, but you can do AM or PM.
Awesome. Just for my experience with vitamin C, I use TIZO's new vitamin C and C Serum, and we have on there use night or morning. I personally use it in the morning, but I'm very good at making sure I have my sunscreen on. I use it in the morning. My reasoning is our vitamin C serum has bakuchiol, which is very, very similar to retinol. And I also use our PM Restore, which is our retinol night product. And I use that at night, obviously, because that's retinol. So I figured I'm just going to use the vitamin C in the morning, but that's really my only reasoning. Nights that I'm not wearing the retinol, I do it in the morning and at the night, the vitamin C. So yeah, there's really, like you said, no right or wrong. Just if you're going to use it during the day, make sure that you are also wearing your SPF.
Yes. And speaking of vitamin C, TIZO, I don't know if anybody knows, but TIZO came out with their own vitamin C, you guys. It's really amazing. I've been using it for the past 2 months. I like to test things out before I actually like talk about it, bring it on, but it's different than any other vitamin C I've used. It has a different glide to it than most vitamin C serums. It's wonderful. And I also love that it acts as a retinol at the same time, almost without giving you the redness, the irritation that most retinols do. So
we were so excited to get this product in. We had so many of our accounts and just consumers asking if we were going to do this. And the nice thing about TIZO being a small business is we want to hear what you guys want because we want to make those things. So when this product came out, we were so excited about it. And I love that you love it. Thank you.
Of course.
All right. So my first question that we get a lot is, what skin type do I have? And it's really tough to answer that question over the phone because I can't tell you. I'm sure you have a little bit of an easier way of telling people because you have them in your room and you have a mag light over top and you can actually tell. But what I always say is all you have to do is one simple thing, cleanse your face and then don't touch it for like 30 minutes and see how your skin reacts to nothing besides cleanser. If you feel good, like you don't need to put anything else on your skin, you have very combination skin. If it's very dry or flaky all over, you have dry skin. If it's very oily and it kind of feels slick to the touch, in certain areas, it can be combination, it can be oily. So I just tell people always wash your face and then let it sit. Don't touch it, see how it reacts. Does it feel dry, tight, oily, greasy, or just normal? And then, that's how you would decide what products would be best for you to use. What would you add to that without having like on the phone, if somebody were to call you? I mean, like I said, you have it a lot easier because you have people directly in front of you, but do you have any tips or tricks for people at home to be able to tell what skin type they have?
I mean, it really comes down to some of the like basic core questions, which is, are you dry, consistently throughout the year? Are you oily, half the season and then dry half the season? Typically that falls between combo skin, and then oily skin, you could just tell. Oily skin, oily skin. You're just constantly
larger pores and
yeah. So that's the easiest way to figure out your skin type. But I mean, it's better for you to go in, make an appointment, a consult, and then figure that out.
Professional tell you.
Yeah.
Because knowing what skin type you have is just going to help you figure out what products, and not only what products, but how to actually apply those products. If you're oily in the T-zone, but you're dry on the cheeks, you don't want to add more oil to that area. So when you apply it, you don't want the first place where your serum's going to go in the oily area. So yeah, if you're unsure, either, do a test at home, but always just go find a professional. They are more than happy to tell you what your skin type is and how to work around that and, the best ingredients for your skin.
Agreed. Okay.
All right. Your next question.
My turn. Okay. So the next question, how often should we reapply sunscreen? I get this question all the time. Everyone usually does it once in the morning, which is normal, right? But I mean, ideally, what's the rule of thumb? How many hours is it? Every 2-3 hours, right?
2 hours.
But I like to be a very realistic person, and I know not everyone does that. at least 2 times a day, or at least if, once in the morning. And then if you happen to go out during the lunchtime for a long walk in the sun, definitely reapply. People think that you don't need to apply any sunscreen if you're just driving in your car to the market and back home, but no, as long as there's windows and sun, yeah, you should be wearing sunscreen at all times. So the answer to that is whenever you're out, reapply, but definitely always every morning, you guys.
Always. That's like my first thing. And it all depends. If you're going to be out, a beach day with your family and you're in and out of the water, you definitely want to reapply a lot more because your sunscreen's going to wear off with sweat and in the water and all that. I know that we just got a really great question actually that how do you reapply on top of makeup? That's an awesome question because like me just said, you wake up in the morning, you do your routine, you throw on your SPF, and then lunchtime, you want to run out and you're going to be out for a while. Beauty sponge. That's what I always say is throw a little bit on the back of your hand and just tap it in over your sunscreen.
Right here.
There you go. You have one right there.
And then you pat it in. Okay.
Exactly. But you're right. The biggest misconception with the sun in general is people are like, well, I'm not outside or I'm not, you put SPF and the beach together and you're like, well, I sit at my home in the office all day. Well, you have windows behind you right now. I have a window over here to my right and UVA rays penetrate through glass. So you're driving in the car, you have your sunroof open, you have your window down, even if the window's up, it's glass. It's going to penetrate through the glass. Just reapply your sunscreen and every 2 hours minimum, but depending on what you're doing.
I agree. The biggest misconception, which you did just cover about the windows. So I have clients that tell me, a lot of people are working from home right now. And, one of my clients just recently, she said, I work from home right next to a big window all day long, but I don't wear sunscreen. Do I really need to? And the answer is you absolutely should. So as long as there's windows in your house, please wear sunscreen because half of my clients come to me complaining about sunspots. That's from not wearing sunscreen, not maintaining your skin. So please, the sun is scary.
And it is so much easier to protect your skin than to try and reverse the damage that has already been done. And unfortunately, I'm sure you see this all the time when you have clients come in and they're like, I want to fix all the spots on my face. And it's like, oh, I just wish that I got to like 5 years sooner and I could have, helped out with that.
Agree.
And another thing with UVA rays especially is, I'm looking at our chat right now. We have people from Florida, Puerto Rico, South Carolina, Atlanta, Nebraska.
Those areas.
I love this. And UVA rays are the same strength from morning until night. Doesn't matter where you are in the world. So, Rita in Nebraska and Chanda in Barbados, the UVA rays are the exact same strength all year round, no matter where you are right now. Wear your SPF. It's very, very simple and it's an easy thing to do. And actually we just got another question in going back to the skin type. How do you know if you have dehydrated versus dry skin? Is there a difference?
Dehydrated versus dry skin. I feel like dry skin, you'll see the flaking, you'll see the patchiness in your skin. That's kind of hard to miss. And then with dehydrated skin, it's like a mix, everyone's a little bit different. But with dehydrated skin, they're kind of the same is how I put it. But you'll be able to tell it's dry, it feels dull, you'll just know.
Yeah, I feel like you can see a little bit more fine lines and wrinkles when it's more dehydrated because the skin is just kind of like more sunken in. And like you said, it's dull. So if you have dehydrated skin, your issue is water intake. If you have dry skin, you need to do something to help replenish the oil in your skin. Yeah. That's a great question. And it's something that you need to, if you have to go to a professional to figure that out, just so you know if it's, hey, you should be drinking more water or you should be using this serum on your skin or, something like that. And then back to the vitamin C question. What percentage of vitamin C is in the new serum? That's a really great question. TIZO's vitamin C and E serum has 18% THD. tetrahexyldecyl ascorbate, which is the most stable form of vitamin C, meaning it is not going to oxidize when it hits air.
Yes.
There are so many different types of vitamin C out there.
Yep.
We, decided on going with this one because of how stable it is, but it is 18%. And we have vitamin C, it has vitamin E, and it also has ferulic acid in there, which is just going to help to boost the integrity of the other acids, the other antioxidants in there.
Yes. One of the things that I want to mention about vitamin C is that a lot of the ones that I'm not going to name which brands, but a lot of the ones that are much, much more pricier, they tend to oxidize much quicker. And so the THD, that product makes it more stable, lasts longer, which, you want to get your money's worth with the vitamin C serum.
Because vitamin C is not it's not an inexpensive product. So
No.
when you put money into your skincare, you want it to last as long as it's supposed to last.
Yeah.
Just from personal use with the vitamin C, I had my very first bottle. I used it every single morning, like religiously every single morning, 4 to 5 drops a day, once a day. And it lasted me a little bit over 2.5 months.
Which is
so
good.
That's pretty great. I will take that as a win.
No, it's really, really good. I actually I'm excited to have my clients actually, purchase the new vitamin C from you guys. It's seriously different from all the vitamin C's I've tried. I don't know why, but I just keep thinking about the glide. It's a different glide. The way it shines on your face too, it's different. So,
and it doesn't leave like a film or anything. It just kind of soaks right in, which is really nice.
It gives you like a nice glow.
Yeah, and it smells really good.
Yes, it smells like lemons.
Like lemons and oranges. It's so good. All right. So my next question is, how often should I see an esthetician for a service? And that's a really great question. And I can't answer that for you because it all depends. Are you going in for, just to maintain your skin? Are you going in for an issue? Are you going to talk to your esthetician about, hey, I need to do a peel series or I need to do treatments? So, you should definitely go in and talk to somebody so that they can better understand your skin and what your goal is. For people that are just going to maintain their skin just for a really, really deep cleanse and to, help get some product information, I would say every 3 months is pretty normal. For a maintenance, 3 to 4 months, but somebody that's going in to actually, hey, I have, terrible acne or hyperpigmentation and I want to fix this. You guys need to come up with a plan on your own. So it really all depends on your skin and what your esthetician says. So what do you usually, are you pretty much on the same line like when you have people come in?
Yes. So, okay. So you might think it's crazy. Well, it's not even that crazy, but Koreans are so gung-ho about their skin, right? We apparently have a 10-step beauty routine. You don't need to, by the way, whatever works for you, works for you. But what I wanted to say was that most of my regulars come once a month because it's just maintenance. People who really want to just maintain their skin, they'll come once a month. Once every other month is common too, but like you said, they can come every 3 months and that's fine too. But it all depends on what skin issues you're having, that stuff. So yeah, it all starts with one consult, you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. Takes one, just go in, meet somebody, they can learn your skin, they can help you out with all your future needs. And okay, another question that came in about the vitamin C. Does the vitamin C work on hyperpigmentation? Yeah, I mean, it's definitely going to help to even out your skin tone. All the ingredients in ours specifically are definitely going to help with dark spots. It's not going to work as a brightener would, for example, but it's definitely going to help just even out the skin tone in general. And does the vitamin C need to be stored at a certain temperature? Room temperature. Just keep it at room temperature and it's totally fine. Do you have anything to add to that with hyperpigmentation and vitamin C?
Room temperature is great. I also like to kind of put it hidden away in the dark as well. Some of my clients love to just keep it in the fridge and then put it on cold. So that's a little tip.
That's gotta feel really nice.
I know, right? And then as far as the hyperpigmentation, as long as you're using a vitamin C, some sort of a brightening agent that really just helps, but you need to be consistent. People expect results using it like a few times a week for a few months, and then they're like, why is this not working?
And then they give up.
I know a lot of my clients, I'm like, how long have you been using that vitamin C? They're like, oh, like 2 weeks, but it's not working. And I'm like, you need to give it at least the full 6 months before you even start to, benefit from it. So consistency.
And that's the same as any products, actually. I remember before I started working with TIZO, I was an esthetician at a salon, and I would get people on a better regimen than what they were using, like random CVS brand products. And I was like, I would give them all these products and they would call me in 2 weeks and be like, well, I broke out from them. These are causing breakouts. And I'm like, no, your skin it's purging. It's getting rid of everything the other products weren't able to do. You need to give your skin time to get used to these new products. So don't give up after 2 weeks. That's the worst thing that you can do, is start a product, decide in 2 weeks it's not working, give up, and then try again. It's never going to work for you.
I know. So that's actually a good point that you brought up. A lot of the times when you use a new product, you can purge. That is normal, but a lot of people can't seem to get past that point of like the purging phase. So as long as you get through it, trust me, there is an end point. It gets better. So
yes, it does. And then I know we had mentioned the retinol product a little bit earlier. So somebody said, I'm not aware that you had a retinol product. Yes, our PM Restore. I call it a serum, but it's more of like a thicker kind of matte consistency. It's really nice. It is 0.08% retinol. It's called PM Restore, and it is fantastic. So the retinol is actually a time-released delivery system. So it's not all going to hit you at once, which is really nice for people that have never used retinol, or they have the itchy red dryness in the morning after using retinol. This kind of the delivery system and the 0.08 in total kind of just help to get your skin used to it, and it continues to penetrate into the skin throughout the night. So I always tell people, if you've never used retinol, or if you're unsure how you're going to react to it, then start like every 2 nights, every other night, and go from there.
Yes. And to add to TIZO's retinol, I've tried so many, the ones that the derms give you, which are a little bit more aggressive, but TIZO's is probably the first and only one that hasn't given me a reaction, irritation, the redness that you get typically. There's this really soft gel-like, it doesn't even feel like you have anything on, which is what's so great about it. Yeah. And there's not a lot of retinols like that. So if anyone is looking for one, try TIZO's. There's this really nice.
And I also find, like, I have very combination skin. In the winter, I get a little bit more on the dry side. So when I put that on, I do use a moisturizer as well. But in the summertime, I use the PM Restore, and I don't even need a moisturizer afterwards. So I love that. And we have a question: what does retinol do? I will let you take over that one.
Well, it helps with cell turnover. Okay. So lots of people don't exfoliate enough, and it helps with that. So, in order for us to produce new skin, new baby-like skin, you want to use some sort of a retinol to create constant cell turnover, creating new skin almost. So it's one of the best ingredients out there that is best for anti-aging, something that you can use long-term, and it helps with so many things, even like the texture of your skin over time and consistency. It will help with even like the way that it feels, stuff like that. There's nothing, I think, more potent than retinol. So if you're not using one, you really should.
I agree. And consistency, we're going to say that a million times, because consistency is key. And as exfoliation goes, I don't know if it's worse to not exfoliate or to over exfoliate. I feel like people don't really know like the middle ground.
No.
You don't want to do either. You don't want to not exfoliate, and you don't want to over exfoliate. And back to retinol, it is not safe to wax when using retinol, correct?
Yes. What happens is, if you're using a retinol and you go to your waxer, let's say, to get a brow wax, you will literally have like ripped off skin. I'm not even kidding you guys. I've seen it happen. And so stop your retinol before you go to wax, at least a week or 2 before, because you will have like raw skin.
And
It's
then
not
you're
worth
gonna have to deal with like it's almost kind of looks like a burn in a way.
Yeah.
So if you are using retinol and if you go and get waxed and you remember like, oh my gosh, I use retinol and I've been using it consistently for the last week, let them know, because you don't want your skin to lift when they wax you at all.
Yes.
So back to the, how often should we use PM Restore? You should use that. I have worked my way up to using it I use it pretty much every night. But I've been using it for 4.5 years, this product specifically. If you've never used retinol or if you've had issues in the past with retinol, use it, I say every 2 nights.
I agree.
Kind of work your way into every other night. It all really depends on your skin and what other products you're using. But yeah. All right. What is your next question?
So this one was already asked, but the question was, how do you reapply sunscreen over makeup throughout the day? So just to add on to that, you can use, a makeup sponge, but the other method is, if you guys know what a cushion compact is, they sell them on Amazon, and you can actually take, a regular sunscreen. TIZO has one as well, and then it's the body and face one. You could squirt it into the sponge, and then it comes with a little cushion pad. It's the same concept as you using this, but it's in a little compact, and you can just bust it open, and just pat it in. Yeah, super easy, and it's not messy at all. So that's one way. And then I'm going to jump to the next question.
We already answered that one.
Yes, this one I thought was a great question. What is the recommended amount of SPF for daily use? So there's, SPF 30, 50, 75, 100, there's a lot of numbers, but the minimum required is 30, you guys, at least 30. If you're not using something that has at least 30, go find a different sunscreen. And, people think that the higher the SPF, the more coverage you get. That's not necessarily true. 30, 40, 50, they kind of all do the same thing up to 100. So I wouldn't just look at that particular number and be like, oh, this is what I need, 100.
If you're looking for 100% blockage of the sun, cover yourself up, get away from windows, and don't go outside. There is like a math formula actually to figure out what percentage of the sun is being covered by your SPF. And just to go back to how little the difference is, an SPF 40 covers 97.5% of the sun, and SPF 100 covers 99%. So the only thing that's going to cover 100 is put yourself in, under a rock. It's not, you're not going to have that. So, wear your sun hat, wear your UVB, UVA protective clothing, wear your sunscreen, but the number difference, the percentage between 30 and 100 is very, very, very minuscule.
Yes, agree.
And I think I saw this as a question later, but I'm just going to tie it in right now. I have so many people that say, well, my foundation has an SPF in it.
Oh my gosh, yes.
And the only thing I have to say to that is your foundation's job is to be a foundation.
Yes.
It is not meant to be an SPF. So if you're looking for an SPF coverage, you need to actually get an SPF to do that job. Let your foundation be a foundation. Ignore the SPF number in that. And it's usually only 15 anyway. So you need more than that.
I know. LC, I love TIZO sunscreen. Me too.
There's another question. Any other skin products not safe to use with retinol?
Not safe to use with retinol? No, I wouldn't necessarily exfoliate the same day that you use the retinol, especially if you have sensitive skin. People who have a little bit thicker skin, they can, do that. That's fine. But it all depends on what your skin type is, if it's sensitive, if it's not. But typically, no, not too much to worry about. How about anything you want to add?
No, I was just going to say, if you are using retinol, you should be wearing your sunscreen during the day anyway, but always make sure, especially when you are using retinol, because it makes your skin photosensitive. So you're really sensitive to the sun. And if you're using retinol, you need to use retinol at night, and make sure that you wash your face in the morning. The first thing that you should do, you need to wash that retinol off and then apply your sunscreen. So, really just waxing definitely, but just make sure that you are protected with an SPF when you are using retinol products.
Also, this might be common sense, but I know it's not for everybody. So I wanted to mention, use retinol only at night, you guys. Never in the morning, only at night, please. I know people who have told me they use it in the mornings and I get stunned every
Stresses
time.
me out.
I'm like,
Stresses me
you're
out.
gonna get pigment everywhere.
That is just going to do more damage than help you, because like we said, it's photosensitive. So your skin is going to, you're going to get hyperpigmentation, and you don't want that. That's what you're using the retinol to help reverse. But if you are one of those people that you feel like you need something like retinol during the day, back to our vitamin C serum, we do have bakuchiol in it. And bakuchiol is a plant-derived product that actually works as retinol, but it's very, very mild. So that's why when I say I use the vitamin C and I use our retinol PM Restore, I use them separate because I don't need to double up on it. And I only use the vitamin C in the morning because the retinol is only used at night.
Yes.
All right. My next question is, will I need multiple treatments to see results? Yeah, from an esthetician, absolutely. And especially, it depends. I mean, it depends on what you're going in for. If you are asking to see results, then you obviously have some sort of issue that you want to work on. And yeah, one time is not going to help. You need to be consistent, absolutely consistent. And not only that, but I don't care if you go to see your professional, every 2 weeks to get treatments. If you're not taking care of your skin at home with the products that you should be using, you're not doing anything good for yourself. So you need not only consistency when you see the professional, but you also need to keep up with that when you're at home. You need to make sure that you're using great products. Always ask for recommendations from your esthetician, and you need to be consistent with them. So yeah, you might need multiple treatments to see results. Absolutely. But what you do at home totally makes a difference as well.
Yes, I have clients who will come in for treatments like every so often, and then they won't do anything for home care, and they'll ask why their skin hasn't improved. And so I have to sit there and say, you know what? Home care is equally as important as, getting treatments. Treatments are great, but if you're not doing anything at home for it, I mean, don't expect to see results, really. It's kind of like going to the gym and then,
eating fast food 3 times a day, every day.
Exactly.
And wondering why you're not seeing the results of the gym. Well, you have to take care of yourself when you're not at the gym. And
healthier.
And that's got to be so stressful for you, because you take all this time and you put so much love into this service for them. And the second they walk out the door, you don't know what they do.
No.
So when they come in every couple of weeks and they're like, well, it's not working. Well, I'm doing what I need to do, but are you also doing what you need to do?
I know it. Oh man, the amount of times I've wanted to say that, but
I know, but you can't.
I know. Sometimes I do, with my close regulars.
You can to an extent.
Agree.
And we both have beautiful skin. Thank you. I'm looking very dewy today. I'm actually wearing tinted Ultra Zinc, which is our face and body sunscreen. On days that I'm not wearing full foundation makeup, which is 90% of my time because we work remotely, I love this one. I use it as my moisturizer. I love the tinted zinc. I love it. And it just gives me this glossy, dewy kind of feel. And I mean,
you're looking dewy. You are.
Thank you for noticing.
No,
this ring light over here is definitely helping as well, but I'll tell you what.
TB, thank you so much for saying we have beautiful skin. I'm using the TIZO 3. It's the primer, and it's also one of TIZO's bestseller, you guys. I was never, ever a tinted person before, ever. With sunscreens, I would avoid it. I only looked for the white ones, but now I only use the tinted. I use the tinted zinc for the body and face. That's the only one I use when I want a nice little glow. And then today I'm more matte. That is with the TIZO 3. Everyone who has tried the samples that I've given them for the TIZO 3, they always text me or send me a message and they ask me, what is this? This is amazing. It feels different. And so once you use it, you won't go back. That's for
It's so
sure.
nice. And it's funny because when we do like trade shows and stuff, and I always put it on the back of people's hands and I'm like, try this, because people are scared of tinted product. They think that it's going to change their skin tone, but we use iron oxide as opposed to a dye. So it's not meant to be like a full coverage makeup. It's just there because when you're working with mineral sunscreens, the zinc oxide can leave white behind. I mean, think of like old cartoons with like the white noses on the lifeguards. That's what you think of when you think of zinc. So when we're using products that have zinc oxide, we want to kind of take away from that white cast. So people will put it on, they're like, this doesn't match my skin tone. I'm like, this doesn't match anybody's skin tone, but it's not meant to. It is meant to take away from the white cast. And it kind of, I find that it gives kind of like a blurring effect to the skin, which is nice.
It does, especially for the pores even. And it acts as a primer, you guys. So when you put on your makeup, it glides on so nicely. So that's another thing.
Love it. All right, your next question.
Okie dokes. This one, how do you reduce melasma or butter it? And are there treatments for it? So that one's tricky. Honestly speaking, once you have melasma, it's really hard to get rid of it fully. Most people will tell you lasers, chemical peels, which are the best methods to help reduce it. But most of the time, once it's there and once it grows big, it tends to come back even after you do a laser treatment, even after you do a chemical peel. Most of my clients who have done lasers, a year later, they get that same spot back, but bigger. It's pretty normal. So what I want to say is constantly use your sunscreen. Use some sort of a brightening agent like a vitamin C serum, retinol. Those are the things that you should be using to help with melasma. So it's really home care, and then once in a while doing the chemical peels or laser treatments for that.
Once again, consistency, keep up with it. And it's very, very hard to reverse stuff like that when
it really is.
Protect. So anybody that has, young kids in their family or just teenager, anybody, just explain the importance of wear your sunscreen now. I remember when I was little and it was always like a hassle to put on sunscreen. I'd be like, oh, I don't want to. I just want to go in the water. Thank God my mom was always like, no, you will thank me later. It takes 2 seconds to put it on, and then you don't have as much issues in the future because it's very hard to reverse. It's a lot easier to protect and get on that. So consistency, definitely key when you are going through treatments and stuff like that.
Yes.
All right, let's see. Do I need to purchase your skincare product recommendations to get results? And hand in hand with that, I also have, I can't afford the products that you're recommending. So if you can't afford the products, totally understand. I mean, skincare products are not cheap, but you get what you pay for. So always keep that in mind and talk to your skincare professional and see what they think out of, the 5 products that they're recommending. If there is one hero product that you should start on, then, just talk to them, discuss, let them see your skin, let them hear your concerns. Let's see what your results are that you're hoping for. And we understand that there's a lot of expensive products out there and you need to find what works for you. So Yumi, if somebody came into you and if you gave them 5 products and they said, hey, I can only afford 1 today right now, that's okay, right? Like, what would you say?
I would work with whatever budget they have realistically, because not everyone can afford a whole regimen. That's just the reality of things. And that's okay. So you start with one thing and then you slowly grow to add in things. What I do want to say is there is no point in using all these bougie serums and skincare products if you're not using sunscreen. I will say that. I have clients who do the bougiest, treatments and everything, but they won't wear sunscreen. That's the one thing they won't do. Yes. And then they wonder why they have all these spots. But I say there's no point in you using all that good stuff if you're not wearing sunscreen at the end of the day. So rule of thumb, sunscreen.
Sunscreen. Yeah. All right, go for your next question.
All right. So I know who asked this one. Paula, you asked this one. So a little shout out for you. What do you think about powder and spray sunscreens? So I don't know about powder, but I think what she meant to say maybe was like a regular sunscreen versus spray. So I know TIZO, you guys have a foam.
Yes.
So the foam one, I've used it and it just goes on really, really nicely and fast. It absorbs in. You can use a spray, which is totally fine. I think it's preference at the end of the day, right? It's like what you prefer. Do you prefer the spray versus applying it? I personally, I feel like with the spray, I'm gonna kind of miss certain areas, not really get it blended in nicely where I need to. So I don't prefer sprays, but that's me.
That's exactly why we don't do a spray. We get that question often. We're like, do you have sprays? And we don't, for two main reasons. I mean, there's a million reasons, but my two biggest ones are product inhalation. How many times have you been at the beach and the family 10 people down from you is spraying their kids down and you are eating their sunscreen? So product inhalation, number one. And number two, uneven distribution. Like you just said, you spray like this and the next thing you know, you have zebra prints on you and in some spots and not in the others. And powder, we hear that question a lot too, because there are some companies that make like their actual powders and people like to put that either on top of their makeup or in their scalp line. We don't have a powder. Once again, product distribution for that one. It's really hard to get the amount of sunscreen when it's a powder, the same amount consistent everywhere. So that's why we say if you need to reapply, you gave some great tips on how to do that with a beauty blender or a compact. So that's why we stay away from foams. That's why we do foams. We stay away from sprays and powders.
Yeah, no, I agree.
But yeah, so we have a foam. It comes out like a mousse, spreads on like a lotion, doesn't grab to body hair. It's really easy for reapplication and kids love it because it's fun.
Yeah. So for people who have kids, moms who have kids, get the foam, get the foam one. They're easy to apply. It's fast, it's pretty big. So yeah.
And a little bit goes a long way because it does come out like a mousse. So, I mean, think about like if you ever use mousse for your hair, you put a little tiny bit and it puffs up like this. A little bit goes a long way on that and it's easy to reapply. And the tube that we have, the canister lasts a pretty long time. It's a great product. I love that.
I agree. Is it you or me?
I don't know. Okay. Can my teenager get a treatment or is say 14 too young? And it depends. I mean, it all depends. Before I started with TIZO and I was an esthetician in a salon, I specialized in teenage acne. That's definitely when you want to get a hold on it because like we keep saying, starting early enough to be able to prevent this is so much easier than when somebody comes in and they want to get rid of, all their acne and they have to go through a whole line of treatments and peels and services. So, if you have a service that could be for somebody that is, a little bit younger or a teenager, as long as their parents are totally okay with it and it's not something that's so strong that's going to damage their skin, absolutely something that's going to help to prevent something, whether it's acne or hyperpigmentation, but definitely getting somebody in the door that's young that you can give them the important information they need to know on how to take care of their skin. They're going to thank you in the long run. So do you see any teenagers or are you more?
I tend to see people who are in high school versus like 14, right? But I feel like that age 14 is the puberty age, right? Where they go through all the different spurts. So I think that it's totally fine for them to go in for a basic facial, meaning like extractions, just keeping it basic. But anything with, like more sophisticated serums, that stuff I wouldn't even have them touch. They just need to keep it basic. And if they have acne, which a lot of 14-year-olds do at that age, they can come in, get a good cleaning, and then kind of go from there. But yeah, I wouldn't do anything aggressive.
I agree. And definitely, like I said, the knowledge, if they know at a younger age, then they can help their skin in the future.
Yep. All right.
All right, you're up.
Okay. So, This one's a good question. In what order does skincare go on? So that one, the easiest way for people to remember this is this. It goes from thinnest to thickest, you guys, as far as the texture. So you start with cleanser, and then if you tone, you can do a toner, and then you can do a serum. So it goes from cleanser, toner, serum, moisturizer, and then you finish off with a sunscreen. So it goes from thinnest serum to thickest moisturizer, and then sunscreen. So that's the easiest way to remember it. If you ever forget, it's thinnest to thickest.
The thinner ones cannot penetrate the thicker ones.
No.
So that's why you want to do it. Because a lot of people ask, they're like, well, why? Or how do I remember that? Because if you have 3 different serums that you put on in the morning, you want to put them on thinnest to thickest so that they can all penetrate like they should into the skin so that they can all have the benefits.
Agreed. And one little key tip is with serums and applying moisturizer, a lot of people don't have patience. I am one of the most impatient people out there, and it takes everything out of me to wait. But the best way, I think, is if you apply your vitamin C serum in the morning, apply it, give yourself a light little quick massage, and then wait a minute before you apply the moisturizer, because you kind of want to let it sit on your face and sink in a little bit. Otherwise, you're just stacking things on top of each other, and you're not giving it room to actually do what it's supposed to do. So
yeah, you don't want to overwhelm your skin with all the products that you're putting on.
Yeah.
I always find, like, in the morning, I have like my steady routine that I do, and I wake up, I wash my face, I put on my first serum, brush my teeth, put on my next serum. You kind of give it a little bit of time to work, to sink in, to do what it needs to do.
Agreed.
My skin changes with the seasons. Is that normal?
Yes, 1,000% normal.
Mine does too. Like every season, I have completely different skin. So that's fun, but it's normal.
I mean, it's totally normal. Like during the winter time, we're all dry. Even oily skin people are dry during the winter time. So that's normal too. And then once we go into the spring, summer, we get a little bit oily. So what I always say is by season, so winter time, you'll use a thicker moisturizer, a nighttime cream, a thicker one. And then for the summertime, you'll use a lighter moisturizer for the daytime. So I always say for the seasons, you should change your moisturizers and even cleansers, So that's the rule of thumb.
Yeah, absolutely. And like we said in the beginning, if anybody signed on after we said this, knowing how to apply your products, and you might have different products for different seasons. I know when we travel for trade shows, we go to so many different climates. I mean, we're coming from a dry area like Vegas, coming back home to Pennsylvania where it's super humid. I have to bring different products with me when I go to Vegas because it's dry out there. So you don't want to bring your products that are, drying products out there. So it's no different if you are in the same place all year round, but your skin changes with the seasons. You need to better understand what products are good for different types of skin and when you should be using those products. And also how to apply them. Like we said in the beginning, if you're oily here and dry here, the last thing you want to do is add more oil in the middle. So you don't want to apply there. If you have something that's going to be an oil product, you want to start where it's drier. So yeah, it's definitely normal. I think everybody goes through that.
Yeah, for sure. I think there's a question in the chat. It says tips and/or product recs for those with super oily skin. Well, number one, I can tell you offhand that TIZO's sunscreen, the TIZO 3, it's a matte velvety finish. I find that is actually like one of the only sunscreens that actually helps to reduce some of the oiliness with people who have super oily skin. So that's one. Using, the oil mat, the paper mats for oil blotting, that's another. But as far as, is there an actual product that takes away oil? No, not really.
No.
You just want to really exfoliate. You want to even using a retinol consistently, that will help. So that's another, but really, if you haven't tried the TIZO 3, the matte velvety finish, try that because it really takes away oiliness. You'd be surprised.
Yeah, that one is definitely our product that we recommend to anybody that has super oily or acneic skin. TIZO 2, TIZO 3. It is the best for oily skin, for sure.
And it's also great for sensitive skin and acneic clients. I find that there are some sunscreens that tend to give breakouts. I've seen it happen to some of my clients, but with TIZOs, I haven't had that issue so far.
Good. All right. Is my skin a good candidate for a peel?
It will all
Yes.
come down to having a consult and seeing if you are even a candidate for a peel, because I think everyone thinks they can do a peel, but you have to be a candidate for it. So start with a consult. Are peels good to do? Yes, they are. It's like getting new, fresh baby-like skin again, depending on what type of peel, because there's mild, medium, deep.
So many types of peels.
A bazillion. I can't even begin. And no esthetician will ever throw you into fire and give you like the most spiciest peel. You start.
And if they do, don't go there.
Yes. Oh my gosh.
Yes. If you walk in their door and you say, "Hi, I've never had a peel before. I've never been to a skincare professional before. What should I do?" And they talk about this peel that's gonna peel all your skin and it's gonna be super strong and crazy like that. Walk out.
I know. And on TikTok, I see so many random videos where people they get this chemical peel for a really cheap price, and then they're in the ER because they've literally burned off their skin.
TikTok, social media, people learn too much from stuff like that, and then they become their own esthetician. And no, you can't do that. You need to actually go see a licensed professional who's going to see your skin underneath a mag lamp and be able to tell you exactly what's going to benefit you. I mean, between all the different TikTok trends that people or whatever social media trends, between that and celebrity lines that keep coming out with different skincare, just because you like that person in a movie doesn't mean that their skincare line is going to be great for you. Always use a professionally dispensed skincare product. And if you're not sure what's best for you, because there are a million out there, go see your professional.
Agreed. Oh my gosh.
Always.
Yeah. Okay, so the next question I have is, a chemical sunscreen or physical sunscreen better or more effective? Which one? I'll let Amanda kind of, talk about that, and then I'll bounce off.
So I will always say mineral sunscreen. I always go back to like my very first interview with TIZO, and I went through aesthetic school. I did aesthetics forever. They don't teach you sunscreen. I even pulled out my old textbook like 6 months ago because I was like, am I crazy or did I just not learn any of this stuff? And it's like a little tiny blurb, and it's like sunscreen, mineral and chemical. Use sunscreen. That's it. It doesn't tell you anything else. So mineral sunscreen lays on top of your skin. It acts like tiny little mirrors, and it reflects UVA and UVB rays. Chemical sunscreen gets absorbed into your bloodstream. They have, done a million different studies about why you should not use chemical sunscreen, why you need to use mineral instead. And honestly, I don't think that people talk about it enough. I have a friend whose mom went through chemo treatment. She had breast cancer, and her doctor was very, very adamant on, as long as your sunscreen is an SPF 100. No, because like we said before, 100 really isn't 100% protective. But he should have been telling her to use a mineral sunscreen because it doesn't get absorbed into your bloodstream. It just protects you from the UVA and UVB rays. Yeah. So as far as more effective or not, you need to keep reapplying. Whether you have a chemical or a mineral sunscreen on, you need to keep reapplying that sunscreen, or else you're not doing yourself any good.
Agree. So I know people are going to ask this, but with TIZO sunscreen, it says mineral sunscreen on there. Mineral is the same as physical, you guys. So using a physical sunscreen, I prefer it. I kind of reference physical sunscreen as eating a healthy warm meal versus a chemical sunscreen. It's kind of like going through a fast food joint, you know. So yes, and I find that physical sunscreens tend to be better for sensitive skin, acne clients. So that's hard to find too. So I stick to physical just for those matters. And with the chemical sunscreens, they tend to actually leave more of a white cast. So again, physical mineral sunscreens are better in my opinion.
Yeah. And going back to just not really teaching the difference is I used to put sunscreen on and immediately break out into hives, and I never knew why. So I was just like, I'm allergic to sunscreen, can't use it. And then when I sat down for this interview at TIZO and they were like, hi, do you wear sunscreen? I was like, actually, no, I'm allergic. And the owner of the company was like, no, you're not. Do you know the difference? And I think he was shocked that I didn't know the difference. And he was like, you went through aesthetic school. You've been teaching aesthetics for how long?
Yeah.
They don't teach it. They don't talk about it.
No.
I wear it every single day now and I have not had a reaction. So yeah, definitely people with sensitive skin and definitely people with acneic skin. Chemical sunscreens have a lot of side effects that you don't want. It's irritating. They can be irritating on a lot of people. So I will always 100% of the time say go mineral sunscreen, always.
Yes, same here, same here. Okay.
And let's see if we have time for one more question, because I know we're coming down to the end.
Oh.
I feel like I've answered all mine.
Yeah. Same here. I mean, the last one I really had was how often can someone get microchanneling, micro needling, peels done? Again, it all depends on your skin type. Starts with a consult. Microneedling, you could do once a month, ideally, if you really wanted to. Peels depends on if it's a deep peel, you can only do it during the winter, fall. And then mild peels, you could do all year long pretty much, but it just depends. So I just want to say that at the end of it, skincare is so important, but wear your sunscreen first. Because trust me, the sunspots that you get, the melasma, all that stuff, your skin will thank you if you wear sunscreen consistently. So for the moms out there who have kids, start early, because my parents, we grew up in a generation where my parents didn't know anything about sunscreen. So I didn't wear sunscreen until in my 20s, which was really late. And so so that's
getting the education out there, consistency, and keeping up with it at home. If you're going to go see a professional, that's fantastic, but you need to make sure that your clients or you as a consumer are doing your part at home too, because seeing an esthetician once every 3 months it's not going to help you in the long run. So
all right.
Awesome. Well, I think we got all of our questions plus more that came in answered. So thank you so much, Yumi. You are a wealth of knowledge. Yumi and TIZO, we both have a giveaway going on for anybody that's been registered for the webinar. So TIZO and Yumi will both be reaching out to the winners of that. And if anybody has any questions at all, you can reach out to us at TIZO. You can reach out to me directly. Yumi she's amazing with Instagram. She's always posting some things. YMK Designs, is that correct?
YMK Designs, but YMK Aesthetics.
Yep. There you go. YMK Aesthetics. YMK Design is the name of the aesthetics. Yes. So YMK Aesthetics. Ask anything that you need. And thank you everybody so much for joining us today.
Thank you.
Bye. Bye. See ya.